Hello everyone, and welcome to my first gameplay report video. In the last video, I went over the technical details of the project, I described how I structured things along with some of the critical design decisions I made along the way. In this video, I want to talk more about the actual gameplay, while only making short technical detours when necessary. With that being said, let's get started. So here we are in the server list panel. There is a section for adding new servers, changing your username, and connecting to existing servers. The server I will be playing on today is not locally hosted on my own machine. Instead, it is the main public server that myself and all alpha testers play on. Connecting is as easy as selecting the server and pressing join. Before we begin, I have chosen a random spot in the world in advance to showcase everything. So, your first goal in Voxuloris is to craft a workbench constructor, as almost all crafting and progression stems from this workbench. To explain why this is important, we must talk about another game. The Blockheads was a popular mobile game during the early to mid 2010s. I absolutely loved this game as a kid. One aspect, among many, that I really liked was how it handled its crafting and progression. Instead of one generic do-all crafting bench, you had specific workbenches for certain categories, like a tool bench for tools, an armor bench for armor, and much more. But more importantly, you actually had to upgrade all these different workbenches if you wanted to make better gear and items. This rigid structure led to a linear progression path that was both intuitive and felt rewarding. I decided that I wanted to take a very similar path with crafting for Voxuloris, which leads us back to the workbench constructor. All other workbenches must be made with the workbench constructor. When crafting any workbench, including the workbench constructor itself, it will be at tier 1. The tier will determine what recipes within that workbench's category are available to you. Each time you upgrade a workbench, you will gain access to better and more advanced recipes. The resources needed to upgrade a workbench to the next tier are selected in such a way that a player must go out and do a variety of tasks to obtain them. At this point in time, this really only consists of break block X to get item Y Z amount of times, but in the future this could include farming, fishing, culling certain mobs, mob breeding, and whatever I can think of down the line. To make a workbench constructor, you need 4 things: dirt, sticks, flint, and clay, all of which can be readily available at the surface. Dirt is literally just on the ground everywhere. Sticks can be collected from breaking leaves, flint can be found within chalk, which is often exposed at the surface, and clay can be found as little patches in the dirt and grass. While breaking those leaves, I collected some pine cones, which I will now place down. Over time, these pine cones will slowly grow into brand new pine trees. However, they don't grow immediately. Instead, they grow in stages, starting out as just pine cones, then to very small saplings, and then all the way to a full tree before stopping. This is another feature that was heavily inspired from the Blockheads. Now that I have all the materials, let's make a workbench constructor. Like I stated in the last video, crafting is performed in a 3x3 grid inside your inventory GUI. Assuming your character is not facing any placed workbench, the workbench type will default to inventory grid, and will default to the tier of 1. With the workbench constructor placed, we can create our first category-specific workbench, the tool bench. Since this is just a regular tier 1 tool bench, it's made from just dirt and flint and looks accordingly. The first set of tools in the game are made from flint. Flint tools have extremely poor durability and mining speed, however they are quick, easy, and cheap, and allow you to finally gather just a few of the various rock types the game has to offer. The flint axe is also the first tool to be able to harvest wood. Stone tools are the next tool set after flint, however they require a specific type of stone, that being shale. Shale itself is found at the surface along with chalk. Shale is also used in making the furnace. Cutting down trees provides 2 things: logs and tree sap. In order to work with logs and other wood-related items, you will need a carpenter's bench. Using the carpenter's bench, you can turn logs into tons of lumber. We will get back to lumber shortly. In addition to shale, stone tools require two other items, tree sap and fibrous material. Fibrous material has a low drop rate from breaking grass. Finally, we can make stone tools. Stone tools provide a slight increase in both durability and mining speed, but what really matters is the stone pickaxe, as it is capable of mining copper ore found in tuff. Copper ore is the only metal ore found at the surface, making it incredibly easy to find. It also generates in pretty big clumps, meaning if you do find some, you will probably find a lot. With all this copper gathered, let's move on to the furnace. The furnace has 3 types of slots. The bottom 5 are for input, the slot right above the middle input slot is the fuel slot, and the top 3 are the output slots. The reason for 5 input slots is so that I can add furnace recipes in the future that might require more than just one thing. The progress icon on the left shows how much remaining fuel points the furnace has before consuming more fuel. The progress icon on the right indicates how far through the smelting process you are. Each time a fuel item is expended, there is a random chance for the furnace to produce ash. Just like workbenches, the furnace starts out at tier 1 and can be upgraded to tier 2. The tier 1 furnace does allow for a few recipes, such as smelting clay into bricks, smelting logs into charcoal, and cooking resin glue from tree sap and charcoal. With bricks, planks, and copper, we can upgrade our workbench constructor, tool bench, and furnace all to tier 2. With the tier 2 workbench, copper tools are now available, offering yet again a nice bump up in durability and mining speed from stone. The copper pickaxe is also able to mine iron ore, found within limestone. However, unlike copper ore, iron ore is found roughly 400 blocks underneath the surface, making it a lot harder to reach than copper ore. Iron ore also smelts longer than copper, increasing wait times. At this point in time, iron tools are the best tools in the game, and it's where progression stops for now. In future versions, I plan on making major changes and additions to how progression works in Voxuloris, especially at the beginning, as what I currently have was implemented rather fast and really for testing purposes, without too much critical thought. To step away from progression, I would like to showcase another player. Here you can see one of my alt accounts. Movement is synced without any issues, as well as animations. The player model itself is still a placeholder, and has yet to have a texture design for it, so for now it just has a blank texture. The game is still a long way before it can be regarded as feature complete. I have really enjoyed working on it so far and have learned a ton. I have so many ideas buzzing around in my head for what I can add in the future. I honestly did not think I would make it this far in the project, but here I am 4 months in. With all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next gameplay report.